It was October 2021, in the small college town of Asheville, North Carolina. Three friends, Daniel, Mark, and Hannah, were celebrating the end of midterms. They decided to drive out to a quiet lake just outside the city, a hidden spot surrounded by thick woods. Students often went there to drink, laugh, and escape the pressure of exams. The night was colder than they expected. Leaves rustled under their boots as they carried bags of snacks and drinks down the narrow trail. The lake shimmered faintly under the pale moonlight. It was quiet, almost too quiet. They set up near the water's edge, opened a few bottles, and started telling stories. The kind of carefree laughter that only comes when you're young and far away from responsibility. But slowly, the atmosphere began to shift. Daniel noticed it first, a crunch in the woods, like a heavy foot snapping a branch. He froze, staring into the trees. "Did you hear that?" he whispered. Mark laughed it off. "Probably a day. Relax." But Daniel wasn't convinced. Minutes passed. Then Hannah heard it too. The sound of footsteps circling them. Slow, deliberate, always just out of sight. Every time they turned their flashlights toward the sound, nothing. Just trees swaying in the night breeze. The laughter faded. Unease spread between them. They huddled closer to the fire they had made, speaking in quieter tones now. Even Mark, who had brushed it off earlier, kept glancing nervously into the dark. Another branch snapped. Closer this time. The sound of leaves being dragged. Daniel gripped his flashlight tighter and called out, "Who's there?" No answer. Only silence. Then a small rock flew from the woods and landed near their feet. Hannah jumped up, her face pale. "That's not an animal," she whispered. The friends looked at each other, panic setting in. Someone was out there, watching them. Mark tried to sound brave. "Maybe it's just another group of students messing with us." But even he didn't believe his own words. The forest felt alive now, every shadow moving, every branch creaking like footsteps. The three of them decided to leave. They packed quickly, their hands shaking, eyes darting between the trees. As they walked back down the narrow path, the footsteps followed, always a few steps behind, sometimes closer, sometimes farther, but never stopping. Daniel whispered, "Don't look back, just keep moving." But Hannah couldn't help herself. She turned, and in the glow of the flashlight, she swore she saw a figure standing at the edge of the trail. Tall, motionless, half hidden by the trees. Her breath caught. She didn't scream. She only whispered, "It's watching us." Mark grabbed her arm and pulled her forward. "Run," he said, and they did. But the sound of footsteps never stopped. They followed all the way back to the car. When they finally slammed the doors shut and locked them, silence returned. But none of them dared to look back into the woods, because deep down, they all knew the same thing. Whatever had been following them was still standing there, just waiting. When they finally reached the car, no one said a word. Daniel's hands trembled as he tried to start the engine. The headlights cut through the darkness, revealing only trees, endless, silent trees. For a moment, everything was still. Then, something darted across the beam of light. A shadow, too tall to be human, but too fast to be an animal. Hannah gasped, "Did you see that?" Mark nodded, but didn't speak. Daniel pressed the gas, tires spinning against the date. They sped down the narrow forest road, hearts pounding, eyes fixed on the black trail ahead. No one looked back. No one dared to. When they reached the main road, the car finally slowed. Hannah exhaled shakily. "Whatever that was, it's over," she whispered. But Daniel wasn't convinced. Later that night, they reached campus and went straight to their dorms. Daniel took a shower, trying to wash away the smell of smoke and fear. When he stepped out, his phone buzzed. A new notification. A photo. It showed the three of them sitting beside the lake, laughing. It was taken just hours earlier, but there was something wrong. Behind them, in the background, a figure was standing among the trees. Tall, motionless, watching. Daniel's blood ran cold. He checked the sender. Unknown number. He ran to Mark's room, slammed the door open. Mark was sitting on his bed, pale as chalk. Without saying a word, he held up his own phone. Same picture, same figure. Hannah came running moments later, tears in her eyes. They sent it to me too, she whispered. Her voice trembled. Who took that picture? No one had an answer. They hadn't seen anyone near them all night. Daniel tried to calm everyone down. Maybe it's some sick joke. Someone from campus followed us. But he didn't believe that. None of them did. That night, none of them slept. They kept the lights on, sitting close together in Mark's room, scrolling through their phones, checking doors, checking windows. Every noise made them jump. At 3:14 a.m., Daniel's phone buzzed again. A text. Just 3 words. Asterisk asterisk still watching you. Asterisk asterisk. He dropped the phone instantly. The others gathered around. The same message appeared on both their phones. Still watching you. Hannah whispered, "What does it want?" No one replied. Outside, the wind howled through the trees, but inside, everything felt wrong. The temperature dropped suddenly, their breaths visible in the air. Mark reached for the light switch, but the power went out. Darkness. Total silence. Daniel's heartbeat roared in his ears. He turned on his phone's flashlight. The dim beam cut through the dark, landing on Hannah's face. She was staring behind him, eyes wide, mouth slightly open. Daniel turned slowly. In the reflection of the dorm window, he saw it. A tall, shadowy figure standing in the corner of the room. No face, just darkness. He spun around, nothing there. But the window still showed the reflection. The figure hadn't moved. Daniel's hand shook as he whispered, "You see that, right?" But before anyone could answer, their phones buzzed again. All 3 screens lit up with the same picture. A photo of them in that very moment, sitting in the dark. And behind them, in the photo, the same faceless figure, standing closer this time. No one spoke. The only light in the room came from their phones, all showing the same picture. The 3 of them sitting together, and behind them, that faceless figure, closer than before. Daniel's voice cracked. This is to be some kind of trick. He ran to the door and pulled it open. The hallway was empty. Cold air brushed his face like something had just moved past. Mark grabbed his jacket. "I'm not staying here," he said, his voice shaking. He stormed out, and the others followed. They ran down the stairwell, through the main hall, out into the courtyard. The night was silent, too silent. Their breath steamed in the cold air. No movement, no sound, just the sound of their own heartbeat echoing in their ears. Then Daniel's phone buzzed again. A new photo. This one was taken outside. It showed the 3 of them standing exactly where they were, in that same courtyard. Mark dropped his phone. "This isn't possible," he whispered. Hannah began to cry, her voice trembling. "It's playing with us, like it knows every move we make." They ran toward the parking lot, desperate to reach the car. But when they turned the corner, the car was already running. Headlights on, keys still in the ignition, as if someone had been waiting for them. Daniel froze. Slowly, he stepped closer to the driver's seat. The door was slightly open. Inside, the seats were wet, and muddy footprints led from the car toward the woods. Hannah's voice barely came out. "It's leading us back." They all stood still, staring into the tree line. The dark seemed to breathe, branches swaying even though there was no wind. A whisper cut through the silence. 3 words. Soft, distant. Asterisk asterisk, come back here. Asterisk asterisk. Hannah screamed. Daniel grabbed her hand, and they ran. Back toward campus, across the field, through the dorm gates, not looking back once. When they finally reached the dorm building, the lights were flickering. The front doors creaked open as they approached. Inside, the hallway was empty. They locked themselves inside Daniel's room, shaking, gasping for air. For a while, there was only silence. Then Mark's phone buzzed again. He hesitated before picking it up. A new message had appeared. It read, "Asterisk asterisk, you shouldn't have left." Asterisk asterisk. The photo attached made Daniel's stomach twist. It was the same image from the lake. But now, the figure wasn't behind them. It was sitting among them, right in the middle. Mark dropped his phone, his voice barely a whisper. "It's here." The lights in the room flickered again. One by one, the bulbs went dark, until only the phone screens glowed faintly. A shadow passed across the walls, stretching, twisting, reaching. Hannah screamed, and Daniel grabbed her arm, trying to pull her toward the door. But it slammed shut on its own. The last thing Daniel saw before the lights went out completely was the reflection in the window. The faceless figure was standing behind him, closer than ever. The next morning, campus security entered the room. 3 phones lay on the floor, each one showing the same unread message. It said, asterisk asterisk, you can run, but you'll never leave the woods. Asterisk asterisk. And since that night, no one goes near the lake after dark, because sometimes, when the wind is still, you can still hear 3 faint voices whispering from the trees. Don't look back. If you're still watching, and you felt the chills, subscribe for more true horror stories, because the next one might happen to you.